morning to you folks. It's DJ Wonder Chrissy. Wish I had a cowbell, folks. Wish I had a cowbell. Welcome to the show. This is Migrant Mayhem. It is Sunday, March 3rd. We're all crazy here in Chicago, that's for damn sure. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. It's 41 degrees. It's Sunday, and we've got a good show for you today. So let's get ready to dive in, folks. We're all crazy in Chicago, folks. We're taking you back to 1985. There you go. There you go. That was Johnny and the Leisure Suits. Hope you enjoyed that. We're all crazy in Chicago, and yeah, the migrants are making people think twice. Yeah, let's hop into this video from Fox News New York, where they're talking about what's going on in Boston and Chicago. They got Cata Truss and another lady here from Boston. They'll give you an update of what it's like in Chicago and Boston. So let's get this one up and running. It looks like it's there. Let's kick it off, and we'll comment as we go through too.
President and radio talk show host Grace Curley and Chicago resident Cata Truss, thank you both for coming on. I want to go to you first, Grace Curley, because here's some angry residents in Boston's Seaport area about this migrant shelter coming. Watch and I'll get your response.
You said this is real. How are you going to ensure we're safe?
So we had no say as residents of the town, residents of the city, neighbors.
I would like to see a little bit more compassion. That's my point of view.
I mean, the thing here is, Grace, they don't know who these people are. They don't know how many are coming. They have not been vetted. I mean, we see this all across the country. They've got schools and museums that are close by, and they just don't know exactly what is going on.
Before long, we're going to have a migrant museum. They'll just be hanging out in the museums. You can go see a migrant by going to the museum. Wouldn't that sound like a good idea?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Trace. It's a safety issue, and I think that that's what a lot of people are trying to relay to their elected officials, and you can feel the frustration and you can feel the panic from a lot of these politicians, especially here in Boston, because obviously they're Democrats, they're dealing with outspoken constituents who are very unhappy, and they can't really give them any sort of strategy because the White House doesn't have a strategy.
There is no plan, and you got to speak up, folks. Otherwise, your politicians are just going to roll right over you. We talked about this yesterday. Politicians love a good crisis. This is a good way to instill universal basic income on the masses. They'll give it to the migrants and then just expand it to the rest of the city, and then they're done. They're done. They did the hard part and made it easy.
So all they can really tell people right now is we understand your frustration and we're not Donald Trump. And that's not doing anyone any good.
If it was Donald Trump, we would have this problem solved. I can guarantee you that.
Not, and Cata Truss, to you now. We're going to get to your city, Chicago, in a minute, but I want you to kind of weigh in, if you could, for me, Cata.
Cata's a lifelong Democrat from Chicago, and she's voting for MAGA and Republican in the next election. She's outspoken, and she's angry.
Happening in Denver, because now Denver is cutting the hours of city employees to pay for the migrants. I mean, the Parks and Recreation Director said the following, quoting here, "The reduction in hours of operation and programs will affect the number of hours worked by many on call, some to the point where they may not receive any hours. Final decisions on hours for any individual position have not been made yet." Can you imagine someone walking up to you saying, "Listen, we have to take care of these migrants, so we're cutting your paycheck"? Cut it.
Of course I can imagine, and it's the same thing that we're seeing here in Chicago that is happening all over the country where migrants are being deposited. There's no money to take care of them. The president is standing back saying that we have newcomers as if they're supposed to be here. And I think that what people have to realize, and I have to keep saying
This is a good point that she brings up, folks. A lot of people don't realize this, and this is the reality.
this, is that at least in Chicago, sanctuary city status only means that we will not report you to the authorities. It does not mean that we are responsible for housing and taking care of you. And again, we're putting
And giving you diapers and tampons. They're running out of diapers and tampons in Chicago. We reported that yesterday.
migrants before the people in these cities. So now you're saying to the people in Denver, we're going to cut your hours, possibly taking away your livelihood so that we can take care of someone else.
Right.
In what world does that make sense?
We're all crazy, that's for sure, Kata. This is a crazy world. It's upside down. Nothing's making sense to me.
And I wonder to you, Grace Curry, because I think if you had to address your local officials, I mean, what would you say to how they have handled this mess in Boston?
Well, it's funny, Trace, because when I watch a lot of these cuts coming out of residents in Boston, you still do have a lot of people who are saying things like, well, I'm very compassionate and I want to handle this with compassion. And I think that's the part of this that we haven't been able to shake. You have to let people understand it's not about compassion. People in Texas are very compassionate. People on those border towns are very compassionate. Addressing the fact that this is an untenable situation and having solutions for that doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you less caring than anybody else. It just makes you a realist with some common sense. And we're lacking that right now, especially in the city of Boston. And people are just at their wits' end. They feel like they've been left in the lurch.
I think you're right, and I want to put these numbers up, Connor, just so everybody knows kind of what Chicago's going through. If you look at back here in January of 20.
Look at that. Look at the climb there from 5,000 to 36 in a matter of 13 months. Wow.
2023, there were 5,100 of these asylum seekers in Chicago, and now the number is 36,000. That is more than 6 times as many in the course of
6 times. Crazy. More
to
craziness.
13 months, Kata. It is, as Grace was saying, untenable.
It is. And think about the money that has already been spent. In the state of Illinois, with the city and county combined, we have spent over $1 billion. That's just this year.
That's what it be.
Imagine what it's going to be like as those populations begin to grow, as their needs begin to increase. Right now we're seeing an increase in crime, and I'm sure that you're going to see that all over the country as the needs grow and people become desperate. Right now when these migrants are committing crimes, they're being arrested and then they're being turned back out onto the streets. And we know that when criminals are not prosecuted correctly, they will come out and they will become more brazen with the crimes that they commit. And so those communities have a right to be on edge.
They do have a right to be on edge. Kata Trust, thank you so much. Grace Curley, thank you for coming on. We appreciate your time.
So there you go. Quick update from Boston and Chicago. Brought in a little bit of Denver. It's getting crazy out there. So let's talk what you're going to